Hey, welcome back, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about the Volt, the one I bought a month ago, and kind of give a review and kind of how it operates. So I've had it for a month now. My intention was to take the TRX out of the daily equation, and it wasn't about the gas or anything like that. It was mainly because of the daily wear and tear, and I work long hours sometimes, and it sits out in a blacktop parking lot with the sun hitting it all day for 12 hours at a time, and it's just you know I don't like my interior of the truck cooking every day and all the electronics and stuff in there. I don't really. It's just better for it to not be every day. So that being said, so I have put 900 miles on this thing so far, and they filled up my tank when I bought it, and I have not put gas in it yet. So my trips to work is 20-mile round trip, and with that, I don't ever need the gas because this car does between 40 to 50 miles if you drive it, the right way on electric. Which, even with that short trip, I can, you know, put it in the worst economy mode, and it's still going to get there and back on the battery, regardless of how I'm driving it. So what I do is I go to work, plug it in, and it fully charges there within it depends how much I used it the day before, but typically about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And then when I go home for work, it's full. I come home, I do not plug it in here unless I'm not working the next day, and then I just drive it back to work again and plug it back in. So I'd only have to, if I work 7 days a week, I'll never plug it in at home. But anyway, so basically, a lot of my miles driving to work, well, all of them have been free, So when I go farther distances, since this is like a hybrid, but it's not what the traditional hybrids, most of them are electrically assisted from a stop gas engines. But this is all electric with a generator. A lot of people are confused with it, not really sure how the thing works, so I'm explaining how it works. So basically, you have this. It's a 1.4 liter engine that's a generator. And then the electric motor / transmission is down there where all the cables are going. So how it works is there's a couple sets of clutches in there. So when you're running on the battery, which is in the center of the car, like down the middle of the car, kind of like a T shape, you end up with just battery power, power in the motor, and then the car goes. And then when you get to a certain speed, there's like 2 electric motors in there, and then like a different clutch will switch so that it's more efficient at a higher speed. Once you deplete the battery to where the engine has to start, the engine only runs to power the motor directly or through the battery, like a circle there. And only at a speeds above 70 miles an hour, there is another clutch that will apply, which will connect the engine directly to assist the electric motor because of voltage demands out of the battery. So it uses the engine for speeds above 70. Anything under 70, it's all electric. But if the battery is fully charged or not depleted to where the engine needs to take over 70 miles an hour, it's still all electric. The motor does not start. So as long as you are running on battery, you can do 100 miles an hour in this thing. I've done it, and it just runs on the battery. Unless the battery is low, then the engine will couple itself at speeds above that. That is the only time this engine is connected to the electric motor or drive wheels, whatever you want to call it. That's pretty much all there is to it. Now, the drive modes. There's 4 drive modes. Normal is You push the push the brake, push the start button. The vehicle starts, and you just drive it like normal, and it will use the battery power first. And once the battery is depleted, let me just talk real quick about that. The battery is designed to charge up to 80% down to like 15 or 20%. That's the window. It always keeps the battery in, and that's what keeps the battery longevity. So when I say those two numbers, you don't see that. You just see 0 and 100%. That is built into it automatically. That's not something the customer or the driver or whatever will see. It's just, like I said, it's just programmed in. You don't even have to think about it. So that's how these batteries, the lithium batteries, last, to keep them within that range automatically. So with that said, so with the normal driving mode, you will run on the battery until the battery is depleted to the point where the engine will take over. You can do that as much as you want. Sometimes it's not the most efficient way because, the car doesn't know what your next driving style is going to be. You do. So if you plan it out, you can get the most out of it, which is pretty simple. So basically, so you have that. Then you have sport mode. Sport mode ramps everything up, and the car actually has decent pickup. I'm not saying it's super fast. It's not a Tesla, but it's definitely like double the acceleration, it seems, than in normal mode. But you will eat your battery, and you might only get 25 to 30 miles out of it. So for shorter trips that you're just going to plug it back in, that might be, something you want to do or whatever. But so there's that. Then there's mountain mode. Mountain mode will only allow the battery to get down so low before it starts the engine to generate power, so that if you are in the mountains or a very hilly area, that you have battery reserve, because the engine does power the generator, which powers the electricity to the motor, but if it needs extra demand, it still needs a little reserve from that battery. So it keeps you at least at half, so that you have a reserve to get you through it. So that isn't going to be a thing for me because I don't live in the mountains, and I don't live in like a lot of hilly areas where that's even going to be an issue. So I live out in the flat area of the Midwest, so totally not an issue for me. Okay, so then there's the hold mode, which I do use. So with hold mode, so if I'm gonna go on the highway and go like say 120, 130 mile round trip, what I will do is, as soon as I get to the highway, or even right before I get there, because I live really close to it, I'll put it on hold mode. Hold mode, from taking off right out of the garage, will keep the battery full to the top, or wherever you turn it on. If it's halfway and you hit hold, it's going to keep it at half. Wherever it's at when you hit the hold is where it's going to stay. So anyway, so you do that, get on the highway. The gas generator will consume an equivalent of 44 miles to the gallon. That's my experience with the generator running on hold mode. So I'm saying, like, on the highway, 44 miles to the gallon is not bad. So and then when you get to, like, where you're going, and you might be driving around town or something, switch off of hold back to normal, and now you're just on battery again, not using gas. And you got to roughly, I didn't notice too much of a difference driving in town or on the highway with the electric, unless you're going faster speeds. I'd say 65 is a sweet spot on electric if you want the most out of it on the highway. So with that being said, I either save it for that, or I might just save it for the reserve on the way back. Either way. I've done 130 miles and only use a couple gallons of gas. So to this date, I have not gotten gas since I bought the car. It's had 900 miles on it. That's the gas gauge says I have 130 mile range left of gasoline. So I got one more 120-mile trip to go, and then I'll actually finally fill it up. It does take premium, but it's not a big deal. It only takes 9 gallons of gas, and if you want to average out my total driving, it's like 100 miles to the gallon. So 9 gallon. Well, actually, I'm gonna go another 100 and some miles, so I'm probably gonna end up with close to 1,100 miles before I got gas. Um, so that's that. That's basically how it operates. It's how I would operate it. Uh, the next thing would be what I think about it in general as a car. So what we the good experience is the driving comfort. That seems to be like any other car. It doesn't feel you don't feel smashed, and I'm a bigger guy, so I don't feel like I'm claustrophobic in this thing at all. Now, back seats, that would be a bad thing, because like it would be good for kids, but you're not putting adults back there unless they sit sideways with their feet across the seat, because there's not much room. I typically drive it around with the seats folded down. Got all kinds of room, and that thing in the middle, that center console thing, that thing pops out of there. So it's completely flat in there. It actually holds quite a bit, for what this is, a little car. I mean, I guess it's not that little, but it's smaller. The other thing is this thing is quiet. Like at work, I've messed with people pulling up right behind them while they're walking, because they can't hear it, unless I hit a little pebbles or something on the pavement. Um, it's just real quiet to drive on the highway everywhere. So that's obviously a given. Even when the engine runs, if you're on the highway and the engine starts, you don't really hear it. You would notice the engine more when you're in town, which is, like I said, I typically run the electric when I'm not on the highway. The thing is smooth as glass. I've taken this thing up to 100 miles an hour, and it feels like, just like I said, like a smooth piece of glass you're on, because it's just no vibrations, no nothing. I just can't. I guess I can't explain it any better than that. The air conditioner, if it's plugged in at work and charging, I can hit the remote start, and the air conditioner run off of electric too, along with also the power steering. I mean, it obviously has to be, since the engine doesn't run for most of the time. So you can have, without using your battery, it's plugged in, you got the AC on, maybe you're waiting to go somewhere. You can just be plugged in and not have to worry about like wasting gas just sitting there running AC. It's no different than if you were just driving the car normally. So that's the plus. One of the minuses, I did talk about the rear seating, but it was buffeting with the windows down. I mean, it's insane. So if you roll your front windows down and not the back ones at all, you are going to get buffeting that would feel like blow out your eardrums. So what I do is, on here, on both sides, I roll the window down this far on the back, and it completely goes away. So it's not an issue if you do that. So if you ever are in one and you drive one and you see that, you're like, what the F is this? So that's that. The regeneration mode. Basically, this thing, for people that maybe have this car and don't even know what it's for, there's a low range. That's what they're calling it, low range, but it's not low, so you're not using any more energy or low gear, nothing. You put it in L, which would be low range on a normal car shifter. Basically, you're going to get a lot more electric motor engine braking. So you let off the throttle, and it will aggressively start sending power recharge back to your battery to get more mileage out of it. Let's say you were on a, I mean, I know you have to go up to get there, but let's just say you were doing a lot of downhill driving and you had that on, you could actually add a couple miles of charge to your battery by using that. So, but, and, other people are like, well, I don't like how fast it slows down. You can use the throttle like a one pedal does it all. You don't have to let all the way off. You can let almost all the way off. Have a little bit of pressure on the pedal. You'll still be charging, but it won't be slowing down as fast as it would if you had your pedal all the way off the accelerator, your foot all the way off the accelerator. So there's just a little modulation with the throttle, and that's all you need to do for that. But that's simply with that. If you just put it in D, it just drives like a normal car, and it still regenerates. And it seems that the regeneration is tied in with the brakes. So the harder you press on the pedal, it seems to regen more. So I think they're somehow connected in that way. The charging. Charging with the 120 that it comes with, I'm going to say if you just come home and plug it in overnight, it's fine. But if you want to use it anytime before that, it sucks. I mean, really, if your outlet is only good for 8 amps, it's going to take you 12 or 16 hours to charge it. If you can use a 12 amp, which you can hit the button inside, it'll do 120 at 12 amps. You're still looking at 8 hours. It's just like, I didn't like that part of it. It just takes forever. So I upgraded my outlet in my wall because I had parts and some cable to a 220, and that's a Clipper Creek charger. And I can charge this car basically 3 hours it's full. So, and you get 10 miles per hour of charge. So like if I just wanted to, I always top it off. I mean, let's just say that it didn't have nothing and you wanted to use electric, you could plug it in for an hour and it'll get you a 10 miles round trip. So if you just wanted to go to the store, come back, plug it back in, whatever. Obviously, if you run out completely, the gas engine takes over, so it doesn't matter. But I have that, and then that charger comes with this little thing here, plugged in there. I just take it out, and then it just plugs up there. It's just like a holder, like a holster, what they call it, whatever. But yeah, switching to the 220 is definitely recommended. I understand that some people might not want to put the money into it because they got to pay an electrician to do it, but I'm like an electrician by trade, so I did all that myself. It's not that hard to do. You just got to know what you're doing with it. Yeah, so I would say that's, in a nutshell, the car is 100% to me worth it because I'm kind of saving the miles on the big boy here. I love the truck and I love driving it every day, but I just rather keep it nice. Okay, you know what? I might not be the big baller that says, "Oh, you could just drive it all the time. Who cares?" But to me, I think these trucks are going to be worth quite a bit down the road because I do not think they are going to make this truck that long. I think they want to go electric. This was, I think, their last hurrah with the supercharged Hellcat engine, so it might be worth something someday. But overall, this Volt, I do love it as far as what I bought it for. It's 100% is doing the job that I want it to. Some people are worried about the battery and warranty. Well, if it comes down to it, I've done a lot of other things. I guess I'm going to learn how to do batteries in these cars if it ever happens. I'm hoping it doesn't. The car, I think the car will pay for itself before that happens. And at that point, I've gotten what I needed to get out of it. But I wish they still made these. I totally like the idea with the gas backup. that you don't have to be worried about, I got to plug in somewhere. So I think that is a huge plus to this car for being electric, because a lot of people are worried about plugging in. Or you got your options. You got an electric car that runs on electric only, generated electric only, and so you either can choose to run the gas or the electric, but no matter what, the car is going to be electric for its power. So I think it's the best of both worlds for now, until like there's no gasoline ever. But like I said, if I got to fill this thing once a month or once every 2 months, I don't care. I mean, I haven't gotten gas in any vehicle for a month. So it's just crazy. I don't even know what the gas prices are. So, you know, and I wasn't even a big electric car guy, but this is kind of making me a believer a little bit in it. I'm a little more interested in them now, because I do kind of like the way it works. So probably because I can play around with buttons inside. But well, I guess I could show you that. So I know that it's not like the only. If the hood's up and I put the key on, the engine starts. That's a feature. You know, I showed you underneath the hood earlier. There's the big orange cables. Well, those big orange cables, I guess, are high. I don't know what the voltage is, but it's not like everything else you touch on the car. So, as a safety feature, if I put the key on in the car with the hood open, the engine will start as a warning that the car is running. That's just for a safety feature. So basically you would take, now you got the charging light is flashing, meaning it's done. So you just pull that out, put that there. And this, now that thing there is telling me I got 35 miles of battery, which that's just what it goes by the last way you were driving it. I typically at the end of the charge, I pretty much get 40 to 41 miles every time the way I drive it. So all you got to do to start it is hit the brake, do that, and it's on. That's it. No noise except for a couple electronic sounding things. But that gas that's there, that's what is from a month ago. And I've driven it quite a bit. So, and then to go, you just, that is like anything else. So turn it off, just hit this, and then this is like, this vehicle has 128 miles to gallon lifetime. So that means that this car has been mostly run on electric. And that 250 is above it. That's what it says all the time if you just don't use gas. There's all kinds of different screens. So that is if I was to plug it in, that would charge. Obviously it's full, so it's saying whatever time is really close to whatever time it is now. So, but there's a big difference once you use the stuff up. And there's the battery, and then it will show power flow going in, coming out, going back. It shows you what everything is going on with this thing. And then this little meter here on the left, it will tell you what the electric motor is using kilowatt wise. When it goes up, it's telling you how much you're using. When it goes down, it shows you how much it's regenerating. And on the other side, on the right side, that's if the engine starts, it shows you how much the engine is revving and how much energy it's putting back in. So it's pretty, all the information you need is there. So turn it off, you just do that. Now, also what they say to do is to, if you can, is just leave it plugged in. You don't have to, but I'm off for the weekend, so I plug it in anyway. Supposedly, this, if leaving it plugged in, keeps the maintenance on the battery, like the temperature. If it's hot or cold, it just keeps it at a certain point, and it's supposed to give a little more longevity. So, but that's it. So, if you like what you see, so I know the video ran a little long, but I'm trying to go over everything that I experienced with the car. So if you like what you see, just hit that subscribe button, the like button, and I promise I'll be getting back to the TRX soon. I got some other things I want to do with it. So, and the Fox body. So, until next time, talk to you later.